You're listening to TurkishSoccer.com's Turkish Football and Turkish Super League podcast. Hello, everyone. My name's Ahmet Turgut. Welcome to a brand new edition of Turkish Football, Turkish Super League podcast. Next 15 minutes, we'll recap what happened in the week 24 and what happened just today for Galatasaray and Fenerbahçe in Europa League matches. And we'll preview the biggest weekend coming up in the week 25 because the derby match is coming up on Monday between Galatasaray and Fenerbahçe. We'll talk about that in details. But first, let's recap what happened in the week 24. In the week 24, there were 20 goals scored. Another low-scoring weekend was. And week 24 started on Friday. It ended on Monday. And in the week 24, Göztepe had bye. And looking at some of the matches that it stands out, as you know, Galatasaray, the top team in the Turkish Super League, who's not lost a match yet until now. And they had come back to win with Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen scored both of the goals in Rize. I will go into detail. And Beşiktaş had a win. They also came back to beat Trabzonspor. And a lot of teams in the relegation zone teams are making a little moves. We could see in the week 24, teams like Hatayspor, Bodrumspor, and Kayserispor trying to get out of that relegation zone and giving the teams who has 23, 24 points fight for themselves. So in remaining probably next 13, 14 weekends, it's going to be tough for these teams right above the relegation zone because if Hatayspor and Bodrumspor and Kayserispor keeps winning their matches, and the relegation zone teams could change. And like I said, the biggest thing and what happened in the week 24, Fenerbahçe played on Sunday and Galatasaray played on Monday. So Fenerbahçe winning at home against Kasımpaşa, and that dropped down the gap to 3 points before Monday's match. And Galatasaray, after losing in the Europa League, losing big, huge score 4-1, they traveled to Rize, and in the Rize, the first half, they looked really bad. In the second half, like I said, Victor Osimhen, the goal scorer for Galatasaray this season, as you know, Icardi is injured. He's out of so far. He hasn't played matches, and also Morata is injured. He will be out for at least a month. And luckily, Galatasaray beat Rizespor 2-1, and the gap still is 6 points going into week 25. Probably the deciding weekend. This will be the deciding weekend for Turkish Super League because if Galatasaray wins, the gap will be 9 points. We'll talk about when we come to week 25. That's why we have very short time in 15 minutes. I want to give you all the details. But after recapping week 25, the standings on top, as you know, there's two teams going for the title so far. Galatasaray with 63 points, Fenerbahçe with 57 points, and third place team, Samsunspor, they're probably one of the best teams in Turkish Super League, along with Göztepe, other than Galatasaray and Fenerbahçe. And Samsunspor won their match, an away match. They're looking strong. They have 46 points. Kudos to Samsunspor. In the bottom of the barrel, the last team, what could we say about Adana Demirspor? Even though they tied this past weekend, they only have 3 points. Hatayspor with 13, Bodrumspor with 20, and Kayserispor with 21. These four teams that I just mentioned to you, they are in the relegation zone. But the teams right above these teams, there are teams with 23, 24, and 27, and 28 points, and even 29 points. Teams are very, if they don't win their matches, and if these teams that in the relegation zone that keeps winning their matches, it's going to be tough going for the teams in the mid bracket. So very crucial weekends coming up in Turkish Super League. But I think the most of all this weekend will decide who will be the champions. We'll talk about that match coming up in the week 25 preview. But today it was one good news, one bad news. One bad news was earlier after going down 4-1. In the Europa League match for Galatasaray. It was disgusting. And today, even with the full roster going into the match against Alkmaar, Galatasaray couldn't do anything in the beginning of the match. First 15 minutes, they could not do anything. So the match at the end of 90 minutes ended 2-2. But kudos to Galatasaray fans. Kudos to Victor Osimhen. He wanted to stay in the game. He wanted to win this. He wanted to score more goals. But I guess towards the end of the match, and Okan Buruk, coach of Galatasaray, did not want to risk him, so he took Osimhen up in the 80th minutes. So it was 2-2 tied, and Galatasaray said goodbye to Europa League. I mentioned this many times. What good is it in the mid-season, in the winter transfer window break? You're getting all these players. You're paying a lot of money. And if you can't do anything in the Europa League, even forget about the Champions League, in Europa League. You can't go to the knockout stages. That's going to be on Okan's watch. On the other hand, Joseph Mourinho's Fenerbahce, they won their first match 3-0. They tied today in Belgium 2-2, and they are going through, and there will be in the Sweet 16 in the Europa League. Round 16 will be announced probably on Friday later on, and most likely Fenerbahce will play against Rangers or Greek team Olympiacos. One of those teams will face Fenerbahce in middle of March. So congratulations to Fenerbahce. Too bad for Galatasaray spending all that money, even though Fenerbahce spend a lot of money too this year for big names. But I can tell you one thing, when we come to a week 25 preview, there's two players right now very hot. One is from Galatasaray, one is from Fenerbahce. We're talking about both strikers. Striker for Galatasaray, Victor Osimhen. And Fenerbahce's top player right now who's scoring the goals is En-Nesyri. En-Nesyri is probably right now is the best player who's scoring goals for Fenerbahce. That is why I think one of the reasons that lately they're playing better and they're scoring more goals. If we look at the advantage as far as scoring, both teams very close to each other. So coming to week 25, very important. The decided weekend for the title race. It will be happening on Monday. Week 25 will start on Friday. There will be two matches. Bodrumspor will host Hatayspor. Very, very important match. Bodrumspor with 20 points and Hatayspor 13. This could be a turnaround for Bodrum if they win their match at home. Another match on Friday, Eyüpspor, who has 40 points, another Cinderella team, will host Beşiktaş. Beşiktaş under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, doing good, but they are far away from chasing the title this season. The best thing they could do is try to grab the Turkish Cup. So look for a good match between Eyüpspor and Beşiktaş on Friday. On Saturday, there's three matches. Antalyaspor will host Kasımpaşa. Antalya with 27 points, Kasımpaşa with 31. Very close points there too. Samsunspor, the third place team in the Turkish Super Lig, who has 46 points, will host another Black Sea region team, Rizespor, who has 27 points. Look for Samsunspor to win this match. In Sivas, who has 23 points, will host another team that is close to them, Konyaspor, who has 24 points. This should be a very dandy match. This will be a during day. As you know, this weekend, there's a lot of snow going around in Turkey. A lot of cities is covered up with snow, so all these matches could be under the snow. Sunday, there's three matches. Kayserispor will host Göztepe. Kayseri with 21 points, Göztepe with 35 points. And Alanyaspor at home, who has 28 points, will host the last place team, Adana Demirspor, who has 3 points. Trabzonspor at home will be hosting Gaziantep. Both teams have 29 points. Another huge match on Sunday. On Monday, the match of the season, if you ask me. It will happen between Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. Yes, this is the title decider. The gap on top, as I said in the beginning of the program, is 6 points. Definitely, Fenerbahce needs a win to reduce the gap to 3 points. With a win at home with the 12th man for Galatasaray, the gap could go to 9 points. And Fenerbahce could kiss goodbye to the title. But what I'm saying right now, what good is it if you win the title if you can't do anything in the Champions League? Forget getting there. You cannot win any matches in the playoff. And then can't do anything in the Europa League. These two teams, fans, inside of Turkey, they are fighting at each other, including with team presidents, team officials. Forget that. Instead of fighting each other, you should tell your team officials to have a good team to fight in the European competitions. That is why this weekend, in this derby match, we will have, first time, foreign referee. We had foreign VAR officials. Now we have foreign referee will ref this match. Slovenian referee Slavko Vincic will be the official for this match on Monday. Now, I don't care. One team is going to win. Most likely this match is going to end tie, if you ask me. But they have a super strikers. If Osimhen plays the way that he played just today, I think he wants to win all the time. But on the other hand, you have En-Nesyri, you have Dzeko, Tadic, you have a lot of good players. So we'll see what happens. One other note, Cengiz Ünder came to MLS. He will be playing for LAFC team. Also, Trabzonspor young U team, U19 team is in European quarterfinals. Congratulations to them. So in 15 minutes, I try to give you what's going to be happening in the Turkish Super League. My name is Ahmet Bob Turgut. Listen to my podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, follow me on Twitter X, also on